morning. Come on in. If I could always have this day, it would be great. Because I'm going to get up and work on writing and go to ballet. It's 6:20. And I don't normally get up quite this early, but I do get up early. If you get up early, then you can get a lot of work done before anything happens. I'm Lightsey Darst, and I write poetry, I write dance criticism, and I teach college English. I thought I was going to be a fiction writer because fiction sounded so much more reasonable. I knew I had to be a writer because I love to write. So I came to graduate school actually as a fiction writer, and it was about a year into graduate school that I realized that I didn't care about plot or characters. And I didn't like moving people around from room to room or doing any of the kind of fiction organizing that you have to do. So poetry seemed a lot more natural. I love that I can sit here and look out at all the trees, just watch things happen, and all my stuff is right here in front of me, and I have all my things that inspire me around me. So I'm currently working on a project called Dance, which is a trilogy of hell, earth, and then paradise or heaven. This is from Treasure, which is the hell section. Burning library. Life was regarded as ended, wearing large gym set earrings. I'm speaking now of people made desperate. Black onyx. I have been a thief. I have been an adulterer. I have been a murderer. Each rung an arm, jade eye hole, platinum lapped bone. You hid your rhinestones in skull boxes, buried my wife, a public desolation of elderberry stain, drawn with carved ivory index fingers. Well, for me, I do work on my laptop a lot. There's still a lot of fiddling and twiddling and staring out the window, and I have all these Post-it notes. You know, when you write things down on Post-it notes, they don't always make sense later, and now they seem kind of strange. Right now I have all this text and I'm trying to narrow it down. I'm a little too prolific, and sometimes that's a good thing because it means that I have a lot to choose from all the time. But in this case, I wrote way too much. Now it's kind of tough because I'm trying to figure out what in all this pile of junk that I wrote actually is something that's interesting and can be something. Find the Girl is my first full-length book that I've had published. Find the Girl has a theme of girlhood and this really dangerous zone that girls go through. Americans think about this area a lot and it's on TV constantly, but I felt that there wasn't a very real presentation of that area of life or what it's like to be that age. So I wanted to write about the inside of that experience with all the fear and horror that's a big part of that time of life, really. Below their smiles, a stand for pecans, the beaten trees bending, arching in neat rows. I am not the flat version. I am not the thin version. I am not the one held together with barbed wire. You can gather your own berries in these long, hot fields, the handwritten sign in blue. I am not the one hanging with one hand onto the tailgate of the black truck. Mostly the reception has been really positive. It's actually a little bit surprising because when you publish a book this dark, you kind of think that people are not going to be that excited to read it, but it's really gotten a lot of good press. All right, well, it's time to go to ballet, so I'm going to pack up here. I take the advanced professional class at the Dance Institute, and it's a great class. We have great teachers. I started dancing when I was about 4.5, but I take it very seriously, and it's a big part of my life, even though it's not a professional thing. This isn't the easiest situation for writing in, obviously, but as a dance critic, I also write in the dark. I write dance criticism for Minneapolis St. Paul magazine and for imanartists.org. Writing about dance is a big challenge because you've got to figure out how to create for the reader the experience of dance. I'm working on dance, and this is the earth section that I'm working on, and the light rail is an ideal place to work on this section because it's all about trying to relate to other people that we don't necessarily know, and all these ways that we have of knowing about people we don't come into contact with. So, light rail is full of these kinds of situations. That idea of dance as a way of keeping your balance in a really complicated and confusing environment, that struck me as being really interesting. They're not like a lot of poems where there's an I and there's a very clear narrative that takes place, or a thought that comes forward in the mind of the I. They're very collage-oriented, and they kind of bombard the reader with a lot of things that suggest a lot of different meanings, but maybe don't all go together. And that's intentional. I want to create that feeling where you're being bombarded by stuff, and you're trying to make sense of it all and trying to figure out how one thing connects to another. What's the meaning that you can draw from all these things? I'm not as talented a dancer as I am a writer, so things that I can only look at in dance I can do in writing. But I try to translate this. How can I feel more in control of my medium and not just, trying to stay above water, which is how I often feel. Central heat. That arm extended, raveling clockwise, a balance spar. Something grows out of nothing. Hate a center, depart from a center, abandon an empty center. It violates our private space, and the one place we think of as our sanctuary. Lift your animal head, drink of always this unfastening. Our wish clears out, leaving space for heaven? But not heaven. We were there once, clawing, naming ourselves. An element like arrows or rainwater shatters off your arm. Fractured, not cut diamond is star sapphire, built around a flaw. I think one of the things that drives me to write poetry is this desire to do justice to the world I see around me. There's the idea of speaking the truth about bad things that happen. I see a lot of people trying very hard and loving other people a lot and putting so much of their effort into the world, and I want to try to commemorate that.